Hi everyone, here I'm going to dive into AI-driven development and how tools like GitHub Copilot are changing the future of software development. Rather than focusing on the buzz around AI replacing engineers, let's explore the capabilities of these tools. Tools like Copilot are powerful assistants that can explain and document code, extend and enhance existing code, and write net new code and tests. But these tools still require skilled human oversight for quality, accuracy, and broader architectural decisions. Let's get started by asking Copilot to explain some existing code. Let's use one of my open source projects, Nest Local HTTPS Proxy. I'd like to understand the purpose of the interface here, so I simply highlight the code in question and press Command-I on my Mac. Copilot pops up inline in VS Code, and I use the /explain command to ask about the significance of this interface and its necessity in this library. Notice how Copilot quickly breaks down the code, answering my questions and explaining the significance of type safety, documentation, and design intent. Also elaborating that the interface is not technically required at runtime, but explaining its value during development in the TypeScript type system and API design. Note that sometimes explanations lack context or deeper insights, which is where human intuition is key. Next, let's ask Copilot to generate some code and add new functionality to my library. I want to add support for developers to optionally provide an existing Nest.js logger to the local HTTPS proxy constructor. So I'm asking Copilot to update this file specifically and implement this functionality. You can see it interpret my prompt and explain its plan before proceeding to make edits to the file. Once it's done editing, I am then presented with the changes, and I diligently review each change in the appropriate context before deciding to reject or accept the changes. I'm pretty happy with these changes. Now I want to proceed with implementing logging across this class using the newly introduced logger. So I'll start by writing one simple log statement, which I then use as reference in my prompt instructing Copilot to finish the job. Copilot tells me its plan for implementation and proceeds making edits to the file. Again, I am presented with its changes, and I diligently review each, making sure the log messages make sense contextually and the log levels are appropriate before accepting the changes. Finally, let's round off these changes by asking Copilot to update the unit tests by adding more to cover our new functionality. I prompt Copilot to add additional unit tests to the specified file to cover the logging functionality. Once again, I review the changes, noting any warnings in the IDE before accepting them. Now the fun part. I'm fast-forwarding through most of this because I spent about 15 minutes running these tests, troubleshooting failures, fixing mocks, and properly organizing test cases. Once all the tests pass and I've confirmed the test coverage is satisfactory, then I'm done. Note that for brevity, I have omitted the screen recordings where I continued to validate Copilot's changes by running a linter, the build, and all tests. Don't forget to do these types of validations regularly to ensure compatibility and functionality. AI tools like Copilot are game changers for software development. They accelerate repetitive tasks, provide quick explanations and documentation, and help scaffold new features and tests. However, they're not autonomous replacements for skilled engineers. They're assistants that still require guidance, validation, and critical thinking. Since I started my career, I've spent countless hours Googling error messages, scouring technical documentation, and manually writing boilerplate code. Today, AI speeds up these tasks and lets me focus on higher-level design and problem solving. However, AI is not yet an autonomous replacement for skilled engineers. It powers assistants that still require guidance, validation, and critical thinking. Although AI hasn't just assisted me here today, it has literally replaced me in this video. What you're seeing and hearing is an AI avatar made in my likeness. But here's the catch. Everything said still came from the mind of a real engineer, using judgment, experience, and intention. AI didn't write this story. It helped to tell it, and that makes all the difference.